The bean holes, it's Eric and Nate, the bean holes, they're really pretty great, so shut up and listen to them talk. Eric and Nate.
All right, welcome to the bean holes. I'm Nate.
I'm Eric.
And we are capping off our Halloween month. October, don't tell Eric.
I just think this month's Halloween.
So we are, what are we doing today?
What's in the box?
What's in the box? As usual, our final Halloween
episode of the month. And in this box contains a bunch of Halloween-centric pieces of paper. I actually have not even shared what I wrote down for Nate. It could just be a trick. I could write down non-Halloween things and have you make a butt of yourself on the internet.
I can make a butt of myself without your help, sir.
All right. Well, you should be first.
Okay.
'Cause I know everything in there.
So these are things we love and hate?
Yeah.
Or things to talk about. Okay.
Wow.
Future of the franchise. I bet you were hoping to kind of wrap up on that one.
No, I mean that's a crazy first one to grab.
Yeah.
So we just had the.
This just looks totally. Wow. Okay.
We just had
There we go.
There we go. We had the 11th Halloween movie, and with the amazing opening weekend it just had, they're already talking about a sequel.
Yeah, it's not only the highest-grossing Halloween movie.
It is the highest-grossing movie starring a lead woman over the age of 55.
Activia. Yes, but also wasn't it number one for the weekend?
It was number one for the weekend. It was its second biggest opening of October in history. It did great business, and already Danny McBride and David Gordon Green have done their rounds. And I just read an interview with Danny McBride that they already have ideas for a sequel, and they had ideas from the beginning of what.
Yeah, I think you mentioned that they actually wanted to pull a Richard Donner and just shoot one
back
to back, and they were Blumhouse was like, how about we wait and see if you make some money before we start spending more?
Yeah. So at this point, it's a guarantee that I think in 2 to 3 years, Michael Myers will be back on the big screen. I've been racking about a story of where this could go, and I think it's really interesting. Spoilers for anybody who hasn't seen the new Halloween movie.
Yeah, real serious spoilers, because it's still a new movie, and Eric's about to tell you things that you probably don't want to know. That's my whole life.
It's interesting that for 40 years, Laurie Strode built this compound to basically be a giant, not only a keep out measure for Michael Myers, but also eventually be a trap for him.
Yep. And
if he seemingly lives through that, then I would like to see how Laurie Strode, her daughter and granddaughter, are outside of that element.
Right.
If Michael Myers is attacking them, they're not as prepared as they were. She had 40 years of preparation,
right, and
now she has, maybe a year or two, wherever this movie lands. So it'll be really interesting to see how they combat that. Yeah. I don't know if you have any other thoughts on what you would like to see in a possible sequel.
I would probably like to see it start with Laurie Strode's funeral, dying of natural causes, surrounded by people she loved, having actually, hopefully, reconciled somewhat with her daughter, granddaughter.
So you think after that final act,
I'd like to just know that she has a little bit of a happy family life for a year, and then she dies, and then they're like, well, the sad saga of Laurie Strode and Michael Myers has finally come to an end, and then someone gets stabbed in the face.
At the funeral.
Right at the funeral.
He jumps where they're lowering the casket into the ground. He jumps into the hole to stab through the casket. Because he's got to make sure.
No, they're lowering the casket, closed casket.
He pulls an Undertaker.
Per her request. He pops out of her casket.
He pulls an Undertaker. You have no idea how many times in WWE they've rolled out an empty casket. They'll show you it's empty, it's closed, and then somehow in the course of a match they'll sneak the Undertaker into the casket.
I think I can guess it was a lot.
All right.
Oh, thank God.
Halloween 2, the original, 1981.
Oh, I thought it just said Halloweeny.
All right, Halloweeny from 1981. The first sequel written by John Carpenter and I think Deborah Hill?
Sure.
Yeah. After the bomb success of the first Halloween, they immediately went to a sequel, and this is the one where they introduced the idea of Michael Myers and Laurie Strode being siblings, which John Carpenter has since regretted making that decision because it is a lot creepier being attacked by somebody you're not related to.
Yeah. I don't know. I think there's a lot of things creepy about being attacked by someone you are related to as well. But
it's more unsettling.
Yeah.
Because the question is why? Why was I attacked?
Yeah, I guess if if it's somebody you actually know, then at least you know that they probably have some reason to hate you.
Yeah. But he dies in a burning fire at the end of that movie.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah.
All right. That's all you got for Halloween 2. Okay.
It's a good scene. I mean, really, a lot of people, especially with this new movie out, a lot of people have kind of downed this movie, but for the longest time, it was one of the better, like almost the last good Halloween movie, and it still holds up. It's still really good, and I wouldn't write it off just because this new movie did.
All right.
Halloweeny.
Yeah. I actually do. I liked your idea that you brought up. I don't think this is really on topic, but I'm thinking of Halloween 3, which had nothing to do with Michael Myers or Laurie Strode or any of that. I think Season of the Witch, I think somebody should actually try to make that a franchise in and of itself.
There is a fan film that's a spiritual sequel called like Return of the Witch coming out, I believe in the next few months, so I'll plug them. They took that bull by the horns.
All right.
What did you get?
I got Halloween 2018.
Hey!
Well,
we did see this movie this past weekend, even through the laughter of a 1-year-old.
People don't bring your kids to see slasher movies. I might bother Eric with this, but I really think it's just bad for the kids when they're, not even able to verbalize their thoughts for them to be seeing people get murdered.
I'm more or less
Eric just hates the sound of children when he's trying to watch a movie.
I mean, yeah, one could have the argument on what's on the screen, like if it was a 6 or 7-year-old able to watch. But if it's a 1-year-old, they're not watching the movie; they're just reacting to their mom or dad or whatever. They're going to scream. They're going to.
I mean, if they're
laugh.
whatever their age, if they're seeing people get stabbed through the neck with a knife, getting their face bashed into a wall, I think it can affect kids of any age, and that I'm not okay with that.
But that was the big issue when we saw the movie. That I thought it was a big distraction.
But the movie was still fantastic.
The movie was really good, and there was just a lot of little things I liked about the movie, and especially just from the acting of Jamie Lee Curtis, the way she perfectly pulled off a stressed out Laurie Strode who's been like keeping this trauma for 40 years, almost like playing herself. Like no matter what she does, she always gets brought back into the Halloween franchise.
No matter what she does, she is stressed out and traumatized.
Yes, a lot of Activia.
All right, wait, it's your turn.
It is my turn. I'll take my turn. All right, this is one of the surprises I left in there.
I already saw it, so stop hiding it from me.
Well, I'm saying it to the group. I put in some John Carpenter classics that, unless we do a John Carpenter episode down the road, when are we ever going to talk about? They Live.
The best movie ever made, at least until Thor Ragnarok. They Live it had the award of my heart. Fantastic movie.
Fantastic
spoiler
fight
alert. Definitely a great fight scene. Keith David, right?
Keith
David
and Roddy Piper in this movie have a fight scene that, no joke, lasts 10 to 15 minutes, and it's just two guys in an alley beating each other up. One guy thinks they get the last blow. They start walking away. The other guy gets up, throws a garbage can at him. And it's you know, a Roddy Piper comes from the world of wrestling. He knew how to stage a good fight.
And Keith David just knows how to kick butt. For those of you who haven't seen it, They Live is a fantastic and fantastically weird movie about an average Joe who's built like a championship wrestler, who finds a pair of sunglasses that allows him to see that many of the people around him are aliens who've taken over the world. Today we refer to them as lizard people.
Yeah. And a lot of like subliminal billboards we would see, and he would put on the glasses, and it would be actually the aliens saying "obey," you know, buy this, and he then just goes on a complete one-man army rampage to take out as many aliens as he can.
And the finest movie quote of all time.
Yes, I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick butt, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Did you say kick butt?
Yeah, I'm not going to say it. We're trying to tone down.
We are trying to tone down our swearing, but I think we can say ass.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Is it the other way around, or am I just confused because of Duke Nukem?
Duke Nukem reversed it. It's time to kick ass and chew bubblegum, and I'm all out of gum.
Yeah.
A lot of Duke Nukem quotes are from action movies from the 80s, and that's his best one, in my opinion.
All right, so stop hiding it from me.
Well, I'm saying it to the group. I put in some John Carpenter classics that, unless we do a John Carpenter episode down the road, when are we ever going to talk about? They Live.
The best movie ever made, at least until Thor Ragnarok. They Live it had the award of my heart. Fantastic movie.
Fantastic
spoiler
fight
alert. Definitely a great fight scene. Keith David, right? Keith was the other. Yeah.
Keith David and Roddy Piper in this movie have a fight scene that, no joke, lasts 10 to 15 minutes, and it's just two guys in an alley beating each other up. One guy thinks they get the last blow. They start walking away. The other guy gets up, throws a garbage can at him, and it's you know, a Roddy Piper comes from the world of wrestling. He knew how to stage a good fight.
And Keith David just knows how to kick butt. For those of you who haven't seen it, They Live is a fantastic and fantastically weird movie about an average Joe who's built like a championship wrestler, who finds a pair of sunglasses that allows him to see that many of the people around him are aliens who've taken over the world. Today we refer to them as lizard people.
Yeah. And a lot of like subliminal billboards we would see, and he would put on the glasses, and it would be actually the aliens saying "obey," you know, buy this, and he then just goes on a complete one-man army rampage to take out as many aliens as he can.
And the finest movie quote of all time.
Yes, I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick butt, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Did you say kick butt?
Yeah, I'm not going to say it. We're trying to tone down.
We are trying to tone down our swearing, but I think we can say ass.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Is it the other way around, or am I just confused because of Duke Nukem?
Duke Nukem reversed it. It's time to kick ass and chew bubblegum, and I'm all out of gum.
Yeah.
A lot of Duke Nukem quotes are from action movies from the 80s, and that's his best one, in my opinion.
Yeah. Agreed. Let's see what I got.
Agreed.
Halloween Resurrection.
All right. The idea of that movie, it's not a good movie, but the idea of it is ahead of its time. Back in 2002, 2003,
nobody had ever thought of resurrections before.
The idea of streaming, like having a live stream on that magnitude, I mean, it's what we're doing now. Now these days.
I mean, we're not doing. This is pre-recorded.
This is pre-recorded,
but later tonight we're launching.
You won't get
well before this video goes up on YouTube, we will be launching Euphonics gameplay with our Red Dead launch party. What?
You said Red Dead launch party.
I said Red Dead, and you're an idiot.
We're gonna go back and listen to this with our Red Dead launch party. gonna
Red
paint
Dead
red.
Redemption. That's
we have
a good video game.
Yeah, we have
we
2
should make.
gaming channels coming out. Euphonics Gaming, Beancade. It'll be fun stuff. But yeah, Halloween Resurrection, company trying to capitalize on the Michael Myers name, breaks into his house, sets up a bunch of cameras, and convinces a group of people to stay there overnight. And of course, Michael, his security system went off. His ADT was like, somebody's in my house. I'm gonna go kill him.
Good plan.
Yeah. The other John Carpenter movie, The Thing.
Yes, my favorite member of the Fantastic Four. No, go ahead. What are you gonna say?
It is by far the best sci-fi movie, in my opinion. That I absolutely love this movie. It's one of the best horror movies ever made, and I don't think you can name another movie that has better effects in terms of like the monsters and the aliens and whatnot. I forgot
Practical effects?
Practical effects. There's no movie that has better practical effects than The Thing.
I was gonna be like, I think Marvel has spent like $1 billion on effects, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah, practical effects. And it's a perfect cult film because when that movie came out, the critics hated it. They thought it was like the worst piece of cinema ever released, and it actually upset John Carpenter for years because he knew like this is a good movie. It eventually found its audience, but you talk about a movie with suspense and keeping you on the edge of your seat because you don't know which character is the thing. I don't know. When's the last time you've seen it?
I don't know if I've been fully conscious through the entire thing ever.
Wow.
I didn't even mean it. Anyway, let's
We're
see
going
what's
to
in the
change that
box.
someday.
Yes. I will be fully conscious someday. Halloween 2, 2009.
In my opinion, the worst Halloween movie. I've said it many times.
Good enough.
during
What's in
this-
the box?
During this month? Halloween 3.
Season of the Witch.
I actually, here's an Easter egg in Halloween 2018. 2 kids trick-or-treating are actually wearing the skull and pumpkin masks from Halloween 3.
And I never saw them at all, so I wouldn't have recognized it.
There's nothing like, you've never seen Halloween 3 though?
Why would you think I would have seen Halloween 3 when I hadn't even seen the first one up until we started this month?
I don't know, because it was different enough. Maybe you caught it on television.
Laurie Strode. Laurie Strode, one of the maybe the prototypical slasher heroine.
Yeah, the first real big final girl.
Yeah,
That became a
the final girl trope.
trope.
Look it up. A young woman who is not content to be the damsel in distress and get rescued by someone else, but becomes stronger and better and faster, and does what she must to survive through great terror.
Yeah, and the whole Halloween story is throughout all of the sequels are based off of her and her family, because eventually once the family connection is made, he starts attacking her daughter and then eventually attacks her when she's older and so on and so forth, which leads us to our new movie this year, which brought her back into the limelight, and I believe in such a better way, because when they brought
She
her
was
back,
basically Sarah Connor in this one.
Yeah. 20 years ago when they did Halloween H2O, I mean, you could tell she was still always looking over her shoulder, but the way that they made this Laurie Strode was so much more believable to me in terms of what happened originally. And even the characters around her, like, get over it. You had 5 of your friends die. You shouldn't be like this. And it's like, she was right all along.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Myers got out and went right back to her. And what's cool about her is Jamie Lee Curtis, I believe, got the role because her mother was in Psycho. Her mother was in Psycho. John Carpenter, huge Alfred Hitchcock fan, even naming Dr. Sam Loomis after another character in Psycho named Sam Loomis. So, She
right.
just kept the legacy
It was,
going on.
Janet Leigh, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I almost said Jason Lee.
That's her brother.
Uh,
You pulled out.
Oh.
Laurie Strode. You don't get twice in the box. Come on.
Get your fingers out of my box.
Rob Zombie.
I don't know what that was. Rob Zombie, of course.
Musician turned director.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think he would have been as successful if his name was Bob Zombie, but yes, he gave us the a revival of Halloween, and perhaps even though his stuff was not as well received as this one, perhaps without his work we wouldn't be seeing this one today.
Yeah, his first crack at Halloween was actually really good, and Rob Zombie, to his credit, has become a really decent director in his own right, and just seems to get better with age. Obviously, he has hiccups like Halloween 2, but there's a huge fan base for that, and even like people dislike House of a Thousand Corpses. I love that movie. People love Devil's Rejects. I don't like it as much. But yeah, he's done fantastic work in horror, and I would, if you've never seen any Rob Zombie movies, there's not one I wouldn't say at least don't watch it, because they're all pretty good in some way.
Very cool.
We got room for
Room for a couple more.
one more?
Michael Myers. I don't think you spelled it right.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but I also have never heard of this guy.
This is the comedian known for his work on Saturday Night Live,
Did he spell it wrong? Let us know.
including his roles in Wayne's World, Austin Powers.
What movie was that? Was that Baby Driver?
Yes, where he wanted
Made the
Michael
joke.
Myers masks, and they grabbed Austin Powers.
Yeah. Yeah, baby. No, Michael Myers, even though I've been quite upfront about the fact that I haven't watched a lot of Halloween movies, Michael Myers, from this latest movie and from the first one, I know that he got much more supernatural later on, and that they also sometimes had a much larger, beefier person playing the role. But from the first movie and this newest sequel, I guess both have the same name. He is, to me, the scariest because of all the slasher killers, because he's the only one that's not doesn't have a supernatural element or something really fantastical to him right from the start, and he's just a kind of scrawny guy in a jumpsuit and a mask who wants to kill people, and that's way more scary to me because I know lots of people like that.
Yeah.
Maybe not that want to kill people. But.
And that's why it kind of goes back to the debate on whether or not he should be her brother, because it is much scarier that a guy who just, every time he breaks out, he just goes on a killing spree.
Yeah.
And
the mystery of why he's doing it, or just not having any idea why, is far scarier than Scary Terry.
He's a guy who likes to kill, and I think reading an interview with Danny McBride, he mentioned the big clincher for the family debate was the single shot scene where he is killing a few people through the neighborhood, and that if he's going after his family, what is the point of him going in all these houses and killing these people? It is a pretty scary situation to have a guy like that, and definitely the whole design of him, from the mask to just the jumpsuit, fits so perfectly. Whereas if I see Jason or Freddy, I like those designs in a way that it's not comedic, but it's just those don't scare me as much, and especially when they turn Jason into a zombie, it's not.
Well,
that doesn't scare me.
especially when Freddy Krueger rapidly just became a parody of himself through each successive sequel.
Yeah.
But I don't remember what I was just going to say. I don't know who picked last. Me.
You just picked Michael Myers.
Damn it. Janet. Lee.
All right.
Let's make this the last one. Oh, you looked and chose which one you want to talk about.
Attitude, yeah.
Piece of garbage.
Who wants to end with John Carpenter? I want to end with John Carpenter.
All right.
One of the most underrated directors of all time, and it's nice to see him get a bit of a resurgence in the media because the guy has such a love for filmmaking, and especially for even just the horror genre. And I recommend anybody to go find the interview he did alongside Jason Blum, where they talked about what they feel makes a good story, and it's a 6 to 10 minute interview. And just to listen to the guy, his passion for the art form is insatiable. Like, you just feel it. This guy cares. I threw in a few other movies in here of his, movies like Escape from New York in L.A., which brought the world Snake Plissken. He gave us They Live. He gave us Halloween. He gave us so much more movies. And he kind of ended his career on his own just because it seemed like he couldn't get a foot in the door. And every time he did, he would just get shoved back out. So, I'm glad that even now working on this new Halloween, he has said he's interested in making more films. So I would be very interested to see what he does. What he does next, because I'm sure he'll help out with the next Halloween movie. But even beyond that, if he has any other ideas, I'm sure he has a plethora of more work to give the world.
All right.
Yeah. So that's been our Halloween month. Join us next week for another episode of The Beanholes. Keep on beaning.
The Beanholes.
Look it up.